Hi guys, just a quick look at the DXY. We'll look at the M30 to start with. We were looking at this 23.6 yesterday and how it hit those highs, and then we had that as a support, and then we rallied and we hit the pitchfork upper. So currently we are undergoing a triangle, which you should be able to see, hopefully, with any luck. And there's the base of the triangle there. So we're going to see a breakout, and the sentiment would suggest that we go to the downside because retail guys are long, and it would be unusual they'd get paid. However, they're short pound and they're short CAD and they're getting paid. So logically, if they can get paid on those two, then why not this? So it's going to be a sit on the hands again. I apologise, but we do want things to line up. So I think using the logic that these guys are misbehaving, this one can potentially as well. But you do want to take note of the data today, and this is what we're waiting for. Scroll down. There we go. So it's not too far away, and that's going to be the high risk severity, and so everything's going to go pretty bonkers. They forecast 4%, but there's rumours about double digit. If so, then it's going to send shockwaves everywhere. And then this will send the dollar up because this will be a risk off. If it goes out of control, then it's like suggesting that the Fed have sort of lost their ability to contain the inflation, and so it's a bit of a panic, and it's a bit of a dent on their confidence as well. So if we do have a humongous beat, it's actually going to be dollar positive because we're going to be pretty risk off, and they're going to have to taper prematurely than they would actually have indicated. So it's going to be an important day today. So keep an eye at 1:30, that's UK time. So I think because CAD and pound are misbehaving, this could probably misbehave as well for the near term, and we can come up, and then we can probably, it will react off one of these fibs. All depends on the data, of course, and this is why we want to wait for the data before we publish a signal, because it can go well and then it can just reverse on us. So it's not much fun, to be honest. But hopefully that makes sense. How we've got a triangle here. We'll go through the time frames. We've got a bullish OPCD on the hourly. Same sort of thing. We're an ascending shift channel, so we can take those lines off. And so yeah, let's zoom out perhaps. Yeah, so this is an ascending shift channel because we created a higher high, which is bullish, and so that's therefore the support. So I wouldn't be too concerned, assuming we don't break this lower shift channel bottom. H4. Oh, okay, so we haven't calculated the data. I was kind of hoping it would. So yeah, just an idea on the hourly. We are in ascent, and I think it's going to be, it might be payday for the dollar. So let's just lastly wrap up with risk, and accept. What is this? Why have I not logged in? I'm such a TradingView noob. Sign in. Okay, S&P. So we are actually negative, which is a surprise because it's really is been so strong. I don't even know how to do that. There you go. So the point of control for S&P. Cool. I need to get good at this. I'm such a noob. I use MetaTrader 4. So the point of control is 4385. So we could potentially come down to the point of control here, 4362. It's a 20-point drop. It all depends on the inflation data today. So it could fall, or we could go above that. So just remember 4385. This falls, it will help the dollar case. So we go back to the M30, and we're going to see a pitchfork break. I think we're going to have a break, and then we'll have some resistance up here, and then we can probably dump. But yeah, it's going to be incredibly difficult to say. I was looking at CAD yen because if you look at the bubbles, that should reverse, and that's a strong sell. This is a strong buy. That should get larger. However, I was looking at all the time frames, even down to the minute one, and I couldn't even see an entry. Okay, we got a bullish butterfly, which created that low, but we got a descending pitchfork, descending channel, even on the 1 minute chart. Got a bearish ABCD here on the 5 minute. 15 doesn't really make much sense. See, M30, we had a shift channel break here. So this could be our stop, H846. Zoom in. Yeah, it's just so difficult. Yeah, there's the break, isn't it? So that low corresponds to that break. So could entertain a long at a stop at 88.46. Hopefully that makes sense. Why there? 88.45. But if we're going risk off, then the CAD yen's going to probably suffer. So it's very, very tricky. Best bet is just to wait for the economic data, and then we can trade afterwards, and then we'll see how we go. We'll have a look at tomorrow, and then I'll wrap up the video. Importance, got some high severity data in Australia. So you've got inflation data from UK, and they were saying about tapering for the RBNZ. I saw some news, some rumour about that, because they've been quite hawkish recently, and that could actually be reflected in their statement. So it could send the Kiwi up like it did before. It moved a lot in a very short space of time, so be careful you've got any Kiwi exposure. And we've got the CAD interest rate decision, so potentially it might explain that bubble, why it's doing that, why it's misbehaving, because the retail guys are looking at this in advance. So just to summarise, we'll wait for the inflation data, and then we'll look at the dollar, I think, and we're going to trade using this DXY breakout. See, I think this is what's going to happen. And just look at the Euro USD. So for this to fall, for this to rise, we do need a risk off. Okay, and the risk off is simply by checking your S&P. Are we positive or negative? We're negative, so the dollar can do well. So I'll be back later, and don't trade unnecessarily. It's fine just not having no position and just watching, and that way it's not a loss. Okay, so it's not a win, but at least it's not a loss, and then you can watch and observe, and you can learn, and that's profiting in itself. So I'll speak to you soon.